PDP governors calls for separation of Accountant General of the Federation and Accountant General of the federal government. You're welcome to Niger Anchor News. I am Stanley. The People's Democratic Party PDP Governors Forum has called for the separation of the offices of the Accountant General of the Federation (AGF) and the Accountant General of the federal government (AGFG), stating that this move is essential for guaranteeing accountability in the management of public funds. The resolution was part of the communique issued at the end of the forum's monthly meeting held in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, over the weekend. The forum, led by Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, expressed concerns over the federal government's failure to clearly distinguish between the federal revenue and revenue accruing to the Federation. The governors urged the Federal Ministry of Finance and the AGF to adhere strictly to Section 162 of the Constitution, which outlines the principles of revenue sharing among the federal, state, and local governments. The PDP governors criticized the AGF for perceived favoritism towards the federal government in managing public funds, and they argued that separation of the two offices would ensure that the Federation's revenue is managed independently in line with constitutional provisions. The forum notes with concern the refusal of the federal government to distinguish between the federal government of Nigeria's revenue and revenue accruing to the Federation, which must be allocated in accordance with extant laws. We called for separation of the office of the Accountant General of the Federation and that of the Accountant General of the Federal Government of Nigeria, the governor stated. The forum also addressed recent political and social issues, including the conclusion of End Bad Governance protests. The governors expressed relief that the protests had ended peacefully and commended their PDP colleagues for handling the situation maturely, preventing hoodlums from hijacking the demonstrations. They emphasized the importance of peaceful protest as a fundamental right and extended condolences to the families of those who lost their lives during the protests. Furthermore, the forum criticized the federal government's response to the protests, accusing it of using blackmail rather than addressing the underlying economic and social issues. The governors called on President Bala to restrain his officials from engaging in blame games that unfairly targeted the state governments. In addition, the forum reaffirmed its support for Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara amid the political impasse in the state, urging the PDP National Working Committee to revisit the congresses that influenced the governor's leadership position within the party. The forum also called on President Tinubu to maintain neutrality in the upcoming governorship election in Edo State, expressing concerns over perceived intimidation of PDP supporters by the police ahead of the September 21st poll. Thanks for watching. Keep watching Niger Anchor News for more news updates.